ABC-7's complete coverage of several trials now underway. One has a sheriff's deputy charged with murdering a fellow deputy inside a hotel.
Another trial, a former Fort Bliss soldier accused of killing 2 highway workers. New at 6, a detailed account of what the defendant reportedly did all day before the crash, with his roommate saying he never saw him drink alcohol.
And we are actively looking for this individual, and as soon as we have him in custody, we're confident that we will have him in custody soon.
But they need your help to find this man. Doña County authorities say he murdered a family member.
The winds are going to pick up as we continue to head throughout the week. Plus, temperatures going to be getting hotter, at least temporarily. And what about our rain chances coming up in the weather?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Maria Garcia in for Estela Casas.
And I'm Rick Cabrera. ABC 7 at 6 starts now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the Borderland. This is ABC 7 at 6.
Murder, intoxicated manslaughter, and getting paid to let immigrants slip through security checks.
Those are the crimes the defendants in 3 different trials are accused of committing. They are big court cases developing in the Borderland this week, and ABC-7 is in the courtroom. One of them involves U.S. Customs supervisor accused of taking money to let undocumented immigrants cross into the U.S. at the Bridge of the Americas.
New at 6, 2 of those immigrants identified Lawrence Madrid today and even said his wife handled all the arrangements. Let's begin in Las Cruces. That's where our New Mexico mobile newsroom crew is following the latest developments on a sheriff's deputy accused of killing a co-worker. That was Tai Chan's mugshot taken when he was arrested in October of 2014. He's now on trial for capital murder in the death of Santa Fe deputy Jeremy Martin. ABC-7's Jamie Warren spent the day inside the Doña County District Court following day 1 of the trial. She joins us live with the latest.
Maria, one of the first officers to arrive on scene, testified this evening here in court. She described seeing Martin face down on the tile with multiple gunshot wounds. That officer began crying as she recalled Martin gasping for breath, unable to speak. Another witness we heard from this evening was a guest at the hotel. As she told jurors she was woken up by gunshots. The state says Chan shot at Martin 10 times. 5 of those shots, they say, struck Martin in the back. The defense argues Chan was protecting his own life.
To my recollection, I recall hearing the sound of gunshots and then hearing a male voice say something along the lines of, "Get out of here," followed by what sounded like a different voice scream, followed by additional gunshots.
It would be a gurgling inhale, and when he would exhale, it was like a voice. It was he was trying to make sound, but no words.
The state said it was going to call Jeremy Martin's widow to the stand. She was pregnant at the time her husband was killed, but the judge decided to break for the evening. Trial resumes tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Reporting live from the Doña County District Courthouse in Las Cruces with our New Mexico mobile newsroom, Jamie Warren, ABC-7.
Jamie, live in Las Cruces following a trial expected to last about 3 weeks. We'll check in with you throughout the week. Thank you so much. Our New Mexico mobile newsroom crew also following the search for this man. 36-year-old Jacob Solis is wanted on an open count of murder. The Doña County Sheriff's Office tells ABC-7 Solis shot and killed his own uncle in the home the 2 of them shared in La Mesa. That's just outside of Las Cruces.
When the victim, the uncle, returned to the residence that he shares with the suspect was waiting for him with a firearm. There was a confrontation, and the suspect then pulled the firearm and shot the victim multiple times and then fled the scene.
Captain Michael Kinney says you should keep a lookout for Jacob Solis, but says the public shouldn't panic. He says investigators are confident they'll find him very soon.
This Las Cruces man is charged with murder because a sheriff's deputy says the victim's last words identified Francisco Campos as the man who stabbed him. The 43-year-old Campos is also charged with tampering with evidence. Police say Campos, who lives at the Coachlight Inn on Motel Boulevard, got into a fight with 44-year-old Ruben Moreno late Saturday at the motel. Campos then allegedly stabbed Moreno with a knife. Police say someone drove the victim to a house on Snow Road in South Las Cruces where someone called for help. When a sheriff's deputy arrived, he says Moreno told him what happened, then passed out. Moreno later died at UMC here in El Paso. We are finally getting details on what a former Fort Bliss soldier charged with intoxicated manslaughter reportedly did the night he allegedly killed 2 highway workers.
The trial for 24-year-old Jan Michael Nieves resumed this morning, and that's when we heard testimony from a soldier in the same unit as Nieves. That soldier was roommates with the defendant and said Nieves did not drink any alcohol when they went to dinner that night back in 2014. Developing now, ABC-7's Evan Folan is live to explain.
Maria, Adel de Jesus says he spent most of the day with Nieves. After going shopping, the two went to Hooters. Jesus says the defendant didn't have any alcohol while they ate. When they went home, the two watched TV. Jesus testified that he went to bed around 5:30 while Nieves was getting ready to go out. The defense asked the witness if he had any alcohol in the house. Jesus said he didn't have liquor, but did have 5 beers in the fridge. Jesus woke up around 5:30 the next morning and said he freaked out after he realized what happened to Nieves. He testified that he found 3 empty beer cans in the trash can. 2 police officers who were blocking the highway for TxDOT that night also took the stand. The 2 testified where they were stationed. One was at the start of the construction on I-10 East. The other was at the intersection of Schuster and Sunbull. Both say they never saw any unauthorized vehicles try and enter the closed freeway. The last witness to take the stand was a forensic consultant. This is video of that deadly crash in 2014. About an hour after this crash, police testified that Nieves' blood was taken. The consultant said that the blood test showing Nieves was over the legal limit is accurate and reliable. Witnesses testified Nieves had 3 beers and 3 shots over the course of 8 hours leading up to the crash. The consultant testified that it's conceivable that someone similar to Nieves' height and weight could have been under the legal limit after consuming those drinks in that span of time. The trial will resume tomorrow morning at 8:30. Maria.
Evan, live in our newsroom tonight. Thank you very much.
Developing now at the federal courthouse downtown, a former U.S. Customs supervisor is on trial accused of allowing immigrants to illegally cross into El Paso from Mexico. He and his wife allegedly took money in exchange. The trial began today for 53-year-old Lawrence Madrid. 3 witnesses testified today, 2 stating and even pointing to Madrid in the courtroom, saying he was the one that allowed them to pass. All 3 witnesses testified it was Madrid's wife, Odette, that made all the arrangements. One woman said her husband paid Odette $2,000 to help cross his wife over back in 2010. She says Odette told them to meet at the bridge and look for the immigration officer who had gray hair. The agreed upon sign that Madrid was the right officer was that he would grab his hair. The witness says she then showed Madrid a Mexican license and then told her to have a good trip and let her pass. Court was recessed until tomorrow at 9 a.m.
If you are a fan of the Heat, today had your name written all over it. A look at the city from the ABC-7 downtown cam on top of the Chase building today. You see the sun is still up and we're in for a warm evening ahead on this Monday. Our chief meteorologist, Doppler Dave Spielman, has your first forecast. Doppler.
Yeah, the wind's certainly up a bit today. Not too bad, but we did have that blowing dust and sand. Let me take you out to the War Eagles Air Museum out there in Santa Teresa. We started off the morning nice. You can see the Franklin Mountains, and then look what happens. Here comes some of that blowing dust and sand coming in from the southwest and really continues to be suspended a little bit. We're starting to see the mountain again, so some of it's starting to come down. And the winds will gradually weaken for tonight. Let me take a look at the wind speeds that we are dealing with. And you can see the War Eagles Air Museum. These are the current temperatures, though. Rosa Cabrera at 90, 87 right now at the War Eagles. And we're looking right here at ABC-7 Studios at 91 degrees. Now, we are going to be talking about the winds still hanging around much of this week. We'll outline it for you coming up.
Okay, Doppler, looking forward to it. Thank you. ABC-7 learned the name of a man killed in an off-road vehicle crash over the weekend. He was 42-year-old Roberto Favela. The sheriff's office says the investigation of the crash that killed him continues tonight and no other details are being released. It happened Saturday evening on the 18,000 block of South Fabens, Carlsbad, that's near Fabens, east of El Paso. ABC-7 now and TxDOT with live traffic coverage. The time is 6:08. There is I-10 and Trans Mountain, the westbound lanes, just near the off-ramp to Trans Mountain. There on the northwest part of El Paso, mile 6. And there you see again one lane of traffic completely closed down. There, police units on the scene of a crash.
The county is getting in on the debate over creating a locally based identification card. ABC-7's Andrew J. Polk was there for the vote and has more.
It's a familiar debate now being discussed in a new setting.
Would that be something you could support?
There are really rigorous standards in place with the state of Texas.
At the request of Commissioner David Stout, the county is exploring a locally created ID. The same arguments heard at City Council are playing out now at Commissioner's Court.
It is a federal law. There's nothing that a municipal ID could do to change that.
Whether you like it or not, there's members of your community that can have access to something as basic but as important as an identification.
The action voted on by county commissioners here today does not create the ID program, but rather authorizes county staff to talk with the city of El Paso and others about what it will take to get a contract in place to set one up.
I've been against the IDs from the beginning for multiple reasons. It just creates too many areas for fraud.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty was the sole vote against the action, voicing concerns about the cost and the possibility for fraud.
You are a citizen of America. You get an ID to say you're an American citizen, and you get access to those things.
But with the vote behind Stout, he says is an important step forward, but that the county isn't locked in if it doesn't prove feasible.
You can always stop it with a vote.
Andrew J. Polk, ABC-7.
There's no set timeline for staff to come back with recommendations for the county, but Commissioner David Stout said he was hoping for something by August.
President Obama will also be traveling to Japan later this week. He will visit Hiroshima Friday, becoming the first serving U.S. president to travel there.
And at his side, El Paso Congressman Beto O'Rourke. After the break, how the congressman is putting all of us at his side and why.
Well, temperature's going to cool down a little bit by midweek, but the winds are going to start to pick up. I'll talk more about it coming up at 1.
This is ABC-7 at 6, where news comes first.
We're watching ABC-7 at 6.